Hello, beautiful people. I think we are live. Yes, we are. Awesome. So, for everyone who's new in the group who doesn't know me yet, my name is Kathrin. I run this group and I am a psychic empowerment healer. I'm a spiritual coach and I really help people, especially women, but also men, who are a little bit stuck on their spiritual and personal growth journey. I really help them remove their blocks and really tap into their empowerment so they can be sovereign and really find their own freedom and really live from that place and really realize themselves. So I wanted to come on today just briefly because I will be making a few changes to the group, like nothing serious or anything, but just something to make the group a little bit more fun. Because I've been guided to come on here live a little bit more often, but in smaller bite chunks. Because from what I've seen so far, and before I go into that, I just wanted to say welcome everyone who's joining this video. I did not put on an announcement for that. Normally I usually kind of like an hour before, a few hours before, I make a little post letting you guys know that I'm on. So I know that now none of you probably is on, and that's totally okay, because you'll probably, you'll see it later. You can watch the replay. And again, it's just going to be a quick video. So leading into that, I've been guided to come on a few times more often per week into this group, but instead of doing long like meaty teachings, I will actually be starting to do like smaller bite, like smaller chunk teachings, so that, because I think there's so many people who do Facebook lives out there and they're amazing, but and I go from my own experience as well, there can be so much to catch up with, to watch, that at some point we just jump from one life to the next, to the next, to the next. And sometimes when we feel so rushed and there's so much free information to go around and to digest, sometimes we don't really extract as much from all these amazing teachings that all these amazing people out there, simply because they're so long and we can't really digest them. And before we actually have the opportunity to integrate them, to embrace all of the details of what the person has just taught us on a Facebook Live, sometimes it gets too overwhelming and we see the next thing, so we hop to the next thing and the next and the next. And then I feel a lot of all of these amazing precious gems that people put out there in terms of their content and their information almost like gets lost. So I don't know, I've been guided to do a bit smaller chunk videos, and I'll just go with the flow and see how it works, how it goes, how the resonance from you guys is. So do let me know what you think about that, because normally, I was shooting to come on about once a week, usually for Wednesday Wisdom, or Wisdom Wednesday, as I was calling it. And I will still try to do that, although the days might vary a little bit. But I really feel that smaller, shorter videos with a bit more concise, kind of compressed information, that you can, maybe you can just jot it down on a notepad or on a piece of paper, and just stick it somewhere, and you can actually actively work with that each and every day, instead of watching one video and then there's so much stuff in there, and even though you like it, then an hour later you already have forgotten about most of it. So hi Neha, so nice that you're here. How are you? Awesome that you're watching. So yeah, I also wanted to say, if you're watching the replay, then do let me know. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I always like to see and hear where people are tuning in from, because I know this tribe is quite global, it's quite international. So let me know where you're from if you want to. So yeah, do let me know what you think about the idea of doing a little bit more often smaller size videos, so that you can actually really work with the information in a bit more of a consistent way, maybe more regular way. So I'll be doing that because that's kind of like I've been feeling what I've been guided to do, and I'd still try to do a bit of a longer teaching, usually on Wednesdays, but again, might be a little bit flexible. And also there are a little bit of a few exciting announcements at the very end of this video, so stay tuned. And I don't want to be longer than 5 or 10 more minutes, so I will keep it short and sweet. It's not easy because I like to talk. Like, once I do come on a video, I really like to interact with you guys and to talk, but in general what I really want to create is a space for people to come here, like we as this tribe, as the well-being masters that we strive to be, and really interact with each other. And I really want you guys to extract the most out of the teachings that I teach, that I channel, that I offer for you guys free here. So yeah. Nia says, hey, thanks, not feeling great, saying this too shall pass to me. Yes, definitely. And you know what, it's actually, it's funny that you say it. It's not funny that you say that, but this is exactly a little bit what I'm going to be talking today. So stay tuned for the teaching, and it's really good that you have this, that you're holding yourself already in the space of I know that shall be pass, because that already puts you on a bit of a higher frequency, even if it's just this little notch higher. But it's, this kind of like suggests that you're not kind of dwelling in the pain or in the negativity that you might be feeling right now, but that you're actually open to a solution. That is very, very important. And that is actually something that we will be speaking on today a little bit about. So again, I'm sorry to hear that you don't feel that great, Niha, but as you already said, this shall pass, and I'm sure you will be feeling much, much better soon. And I know some of the action points that I give you guys today might actually help you. Do let me know. Obviously, I don't know what it is that you're dealing with, but I could imagine that because the things that I will be sharing with you guys, you can actually kind of like apply that for everything. So yeah, I hope you're feeling much, much, much better soon, love. So let's go into the teaching. So the mini message, I don't know what to call them. And, I was chatting with my guides, and I had come up with a name of like mini message, per video as the last video. And they didn't really say anything else. So I just kind of go with a video message, mini messages for this kind of like really quick teaching style. And it's going to be on what you can do when things get really tough, when things feel intense, when things go a little bit pear-shaped. And yeah, I really just wanted to give you a few options how you can work with that. So obviously we all have been in that situation that we feel really crappy, we feel overwhelmed, we feel defeated by something, maybe we are in pain, maybe we've been disappointed, maybe we think we've made a mistake and we're beating ourselves up. I mean, there's so many scenarios. But pretty much all of them are in some way, shape, or form based on the perceived notion or the conditioning that we have some kind of fear of lack. Usually it's always lack that gives us a negative emotion. Most situations, most fears, most limiting beliefs can actually be broken down into the energy of fear of lack. And the general notion that there is not enough to go around so that I can have the share that I desire. But anyway, so when we are in this place, no matter what it is, maybe your partner broke up with you, God forbid, I hope that's not the case, but just like any kind of situation that is really, really tough on us. Maybe we have money issues, maybe we have family stuff that we go through, maybe somebody has abandoned us, or maybe things that just not go as we think they would. So the very, very first thing that I would love for you to do is, and I've really kind of started to do that myself, especially over the last few weeks and months, and it is really pure gold when you start to practice that. So the very first thing when you're in that situation of a negative feeling, negative challenge, and negative experience, hold space for you. Instead of immediately going into victimhood or immediately going into this kind of crazy downward spiral or into the blaming yourself mode, really start to hold space for yourself, hold space for you to breathe for a second, and start to simply be able to watch the situation from the outside as if you were an onlooker, just to get a little bit of distance between that experience and your state of being. Because at the end of the day, we all live in this reality that we think is so real because, you know, I can touch the sofa, you know, I can touch this pillow. It feels so real. But at the end of the day, hi, Michelin, so nice you're joining. But at the end of the day, even though this feels really real, you know, I can feel it literally. At the end of the day, our reality is just what we project out. It's just all of the molecules, the particles come together and forming the reality that we have emitted energetically. And I know, you know, that comes up a lot in metaphysical teachings, in the law of attraction, in so many spiritual teachings that people put out. And we hear it so much, but still we forget that the reality is actually not real. Because we're growing up in this reality and it feels so real, and it's supposed to feel real because otherwise you would not really buy into this game, right? So it kind of has to feel real and to feel, you know, it has a substance to it. It has, you know, there's material that I can touch and I can do stuff with, and there are other people that interact with me. So even though, yes, we live in that augmented reality almost, but just to remember that we are just here to learn, and we're just kind of like the extension of source, but actually we're just pure positive bliss. So it really serves us well when we're in that space, or in that, you know, place where we're holding space for ourselves, going through a difficult experience, that we just bring back that knowledge, and you don't have to dwell on it, you know, just remind yourself quickly of that whilst you're holding space for yourself, while you give yourself compassion. Because what then happens is it will feel a little bit less intense and less real, and less, it will still feel real, but I find it takes a little bit the edge off. And sometimes that is all we need to deal with a difficult situation with grace, with integrity, with clarity, and with alignment. Like, really remember this. Sometimes all it needs to take the edge off a very difficult situation, a very difficult feeling, is to hold space for us, so that we can act or react with integrity, with grace, with clarity, and with full alignment with ourselves, with our true selves, with our higher selves, with our soul. So that is something that I really would like you to practice a little bit whenever these kind of difficult situations come up. And they can be all, you know, all bandwidth almost of the spectrum. They can be really difficult, but then it can also be just like uncomfortable, you know, where you feel a little bit of discomfort, but it's not like a tragedy, it's not like a drama or trauma situation, but still you feel a bit like, you know, not quite in alignment with myself, not quite feeling the feelings that I actually want to feel. So I really do encourage you, when you come to a situation like this, and usually it's best to practice these situations with a little bit of a in a situation that is not super taxing right away, because the more taxing it gets, the more difficult it gets for us to hold that space initially, until we really practice. And you only have to practice a few times, and then you will see you would get better. And even in challenging situations, you will then be able to hold that energetic frequency almost like in that bubble where you can still interact, you're still able, you're still fully capable, but you're not in that super trigger mode, you're not in that super trauma mode, you're not in that, oh my gosh, this is the end of everything, like I don't know what to do. You know, you don't really go into that super desperate state then anymore. And I think that alone is super, super helpful. Michelin says they talk about this a lot on KFI Talk Radio, the effective of molecules and positive energy. Yeah, Michelin, that's awesome, isn't it? I mean, I don't know the radio station, but I feel in general there are so many people and social media outlets, companies, thought leaders, even scientists who really go into these kind of like more metaphysical kind of like corners or niches of science, and there is a lot of science coming out now, and already has come out, like it's not necessarily something very new, but it keeps accumulating, that you know, that kind of proves that our world, our reality is very malleable, and that energy responds to intention. I mean, there is so much proof of that. And obviously all of us who are in this kind of like spiritual community, who are seekers, who are light workers, who are people who want to work with the law of attraction, who want to better their world, who want to have a better connection to source, to God, to the divine, to the universe, whatever you want to call it. We know that because we've heard it so many times, you know, within that circle, and now also coming from scientists and all of that. But sometimes it is so easy in that game that we're all playing to forget that it's actually not really real. At the end of the day, all you are is pure positive bliss, pure consciousness. You know, that's what we are. And I have to raise my hand. I often forget as well. But again, when you start practicing that method of when something happens, good or bad, or you know, just slightly bad or like super traumatic, when you start to every single time hold space for yourself, allow yourself to breathe, really allow yourself to be the onlooker from outside of the bubble, then you can still have compassion for yourself and for others. You can still, like, even more so, as if you were in that game, as if you're trying to achieve and force and you do all of that heavy work. And yeah, of course we have to take action a lot of the times, especially when we're in tricky situations. But with that kind of stuff, it does get easier. And I was sharing a quote actually, and I just have to look it up briefly on my in my group. Actually, you might have seen it, you might not have seen it, because I think Facebook is not so great at the moment in showing group members all the new posts. I think people probably only see small fractions of what I post and what other people's post in groups. Unless it's a very big group where, you know, where they have like thousands of people. But anyway, so the quote that I wanted to share with you is that, and it's channeled from Bashar, and the channel is Daryl Anka, you might know of them. So the quote is, "The darker you've experienced the darkness, when you finally let go, that much farther and faster you will fly into the light." So when you're in that space again, where things hurt, where things are really tricky and difficult, then bring it back to that quote, if nothing else from this video sticks. But really bring it back that, you know, in these dark times, there's so much unique transformational potential. Our only job is to realize that potential, to really seize that potential and make use of it. So you can find that quote in the group. I've posted it last night, so about 20 hours ago, in case you want to bookmark it or kind of like take a note or something like that. Again, I would like to keep those kind of like mini messages that I will put out via live videos now a little bit more often, maybe not on a daily basis, but maybe every other day or like 3 or 4 times a week. That's kind of roughly what I'm shooting for. But again, I'm going by what my guides tell me, by my inspiration and intuition. So that is kind of like my intention, but I really hope that this way you can extract a little bit more of those core principles and really apply them, instead of listening to a live and really, you know, liking it and being entertained with that, but then hopping into the next life or to the next thing or the next chore or the, you know, the next household task or going to work, and then everything is forgotten, because I really want you to be able to extract the most out of this. So that was the mini teaching, the mini message for today. And also I would like you to know that I'm still offering the Syrian source healings. There are not that many slots per week. So if you're interested, then go ahead and find the post that is in my group as well. You just have to search for Syrian source healing. And I also still offer my mentorship programs, which are 3 months long. So 12 weeks we come together and we share a really, really intense space, where, like, intense meaning transformational space, where you can really go through all of the challenges that you have, where we really can transform your life. And if you need more information on that, I also have a post that you can look up in the group, or you can just PM me if you need more information for both of these offerings. And the other thing is that I'm really excited. I will be doing a free challenge that is probably going to be starting around the end of next week, and I will put up a post probably on Monday or Tuesday to let you know. And it's gonna be all about manifesting. It's gonna be some kind of like little manifesting adventure that I'm super excited about, and we already have a few wonderful energies stepping forward. And this time we also have a few shamanic energies. I'm really excited to share more about that with you next week, but already kind of like start to mark your calendars a little bit, because the challenge, the free challenge, is going to start around at the end of next week. And yeah, I just wanted to start to kind of like announce that, so that you know about it. And if you would like to be participating, then just let me know in the comments, and I will put your name down. And when it actually starts, I can then tag you, because I know that Facebook sometimes does not show things to people. So if you really want to be sure to be included on this free challenge, on this free adventure for manifesting that I will take you guys on, then be sure to comment. Okay, Michelin says, thank you for the message. You're so welcome, Michelin. It was a pleasure, and there will be more of them next week. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. See you soon, guys. Mwah. Bye.